Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you your weekly flesh and blood market update. Let's jump in. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Pretty interesting week, pretty downtrodden as expected, as predicted, and as stated last week. I have a feeling we're going to continue to see trends like this with a few spikes such as this every once in a while where it pops back up, basically hitting overzealous selling essentially. Uh, I did get a comment last week that this is seasonal, and it is in fact seasonal. If we go back over to last October, we had another icy week like this. It was towards the end of October instead of the beginning, but that happens. There's some variance in those time frames. I will say this is not as icy. We did see a dip in the first edition products, which I just realized you guys can't see. There we go. We did see a dip in the first edition products during that period, but if you notice what's around it, there's a lot of heat happening, sporadic cold, right? It's a little bit of a static mess here, up and down, up and down. So more of a natural market movement as opposed to a macro trend. We did have this down dip this 1 week in October going poorly. I would say that this is different, but how different we won't know until we can look back on it in the future. Just looking at this color pattern, it's a lot colder in general over a lot longer period. If you look at this area, with less red mixed in, right, compared to that last one. So just with that in mind, it is a different macro market as we have talked about, and I think that is still a valid concern and thought process versus back here a year ago. I do see that there's I don't have a previous October, unfortunately. I only have the one. So I do think there's a seasonality to this market. I've talked about that before in the podcast and various times. But I would say that this is also, it's a multiplicative effect because there is a macro downtrend on top of the fact that it's a seasonal downtrend. So I do think it's going to be a little crazy. Now, the other prediction from the comment, was that Fab will go back up in February. There's a rise in February, which I think is probably a valid, thought process. We'll just see how it plays into the macro environment, because if we're in the middle of a recession, people are losing their jobs, whatever's happening, right? If it's a big macro downtrend, you can't beat the macro, right? Macro will beat you every day of the week, even if there's seasonality and that sort of thing. That's why they call it macro. It's the whole thing, right? All right, so let's dive into the individual boxes. Arcane rising down 5.05% to 94 from 99. Again, a new low. Starting to look like some pretty tasty territory if you do believe that the stock of this is running out and you want to secure it. We are way down from the highs of this 128, kind of 130 range. But that said, lots of macro environmental things to take into account, and who knows how low we go before we recover. Tales of Aria up 6% to 53 from 50. Not really crazy. Definitely within the last 2 months range. So nothing nutty there. I guess it's just a retrace. We'll look at the chart. Unlimited cases of ARC are down 5.12% to 389. I want to see what this chart looks like. We were talking about this last week, how there's a divergence and convergence on the box first case. So I do want to see what that looks like. Crew is down. Wait, what happened? Oh, I just accidentally made it blue. That's not actually down. Look at that. I dragged over two columns. Sorry, one less blue. All right, good news. Two less blues. I did it twice. Oh, I must have had two things selected when I did it. Oops, my bad. All right, moving on to WTR. First edition box is down 5.11% to 29.51. Pretty low. I believe we're hitting in that range, right? 27.50, 29.50. We're hitting in that range where we bounced back the last time we were this low, way back here. I just want to see. I think it was 28.99 before. So we've gone lower. Just double checking. Yeah, we've gone lower before. With this 27.50, I think this is an all-time low in my tracking. So let's see if we end up back there and below, because with the macro environment, I can see risk on assets such as cardboard, declining. That's just the nature of the beast. That's how it goes. Moving on, Dusk Till Dawn down 5.75% to 82 from 87. nothing crazy. We had that back here. It's, the recent set is now the boring set. That's how it always goes, right? We know how this plays, guys. Nothing special here. Moving on to Evo. Evo is Bright Lights, negative 7.14% off of its release date. I made it green to mark the release date. I don't know if I've done that in the past. I don't think I have, but anyways, that's what I'm doing with Bright Lights. Down 7% to 78 from 84. Nothing crazy there other than that it's off map already. We've seen that in the past, so nothing really weird there. And then finally, if you go down to the cases, 299, sorry, down 13.3% for a case. 299 from 345, which was down from the 376 in the past 2 weeks. I did integrate these into the charts, and we're going to jump straight into the charts because TCG Player is having maintenance, I think, right as we're doing this, and I don't want to get screwed up with that. So moving into the charts, Tales of Aria is closing on its premium. So we did see this drop. We were wondering if it would come back up. It is in fact coming back up, reverting to the mean. I could see it settling in a little bit around this area, maybe a little higher, maybe a little bit lower, just based on this trend line here. We have a general trend going through this area with a volatility spike and a recovery. Pretty standard and typical. And then also the case prices are holding as well, which indicates that this is just aberrant behavior around the boxes. Now, if this were to drop and meet it, then we have something else to look at, but at this point, I think that's what that is. Oops, I skipped all of them and went straight to tails. Why not? The weird one. All right, WTR completely converged. Nothing too special there, but still on the downtrend. ARC has tightened up. Actually, it's following suit. Yeah, that's... So this is what I was talking about with tails. The fact that the cases were holding up means it's going to revert to the mean. It feels like this is cases and boxes are dropping simultaneously at equal rate. It means it's overpriced is what it looks like. And so we're going to come down and find where the bottom is, the real bottom. So it was held there for a while in the hype of ARC being out of print and not having much left, but I guess not much left was still plenty enough. So prices got to come down. Crew, the premium is holding, and we are seeing this. Now, we stayed at this point. We did not do another dinosaur leg, right? So we stayed down flat. We've done that in the past. Let's go another week or so and see how this goes, because we could see it pop back up like it did back here. Similar pattern, actually, we're seeing over there at a similar price as well. So see where that one goes. Look at that. Crew's the new dinosaur. Okay, whatever. I'll shut up about the dinosaurs. Monarch, moving on. Monarch, yeah, we have a little bit of an arbitrage opportunity. Not really an opportunity, but arbitrage is possible, I suppose. Yeah, it's pretty flat, actually. It's just finding its new low in its new area post this till dawn, and we already looked at Tales of Aria. All right, this time I'm going to start at the beginning. Nope, we do have Evo. Yay. So I got it in there finally, which, I said I'd do it at release. It's released. There we go. All right, WTR, nothing too impressive. Box price coming down so low with the case being so high, but you don't get those sorts of case volume anymore, so that price is artificial. We know ARC is down low, and again, we have an ARB opportunity, but it's probably not worth it because it's probably not real. Crew is holding flat. Interesting on the cases. The boxes continue to go down. This is actually interesting. This is starting to look more and more like what we're seeing over in WTR and ARC, right? Or not ARC. ARC is actually matching, surprisingly. But WTR is getting this divergent area. I wonder if Crew... Anyone leave a comment if Crew has stuff in it that's just useful still. And so is it holding up because it's actually got playable items, so it has like a regular burn of supply, and thus people are detecting it's just running out. There's also the fact that Crew in general, if you consider both unlimited and limited, had a low print run if you take both into account. I believe it was lower than ARC and WTR, if I'm not mistaken, if you take both into account for all of them, right? The unlimited and the full print run of any particular set. I think Crew was lower, maybe not than WTR, but than ARC. I believe that's true. So that might be part of what that's about, is that it's showing basically the cases are running out. going on to Monarch. Oof, man, it's squeezed tight, and it is just, yeah, that's just a flow to the low. We are going to see new lows with Monarch. I guess that makes sense after Dusk Till Dawn hype. Those boxes now become not that valuable to player bases, right? So they aren't going to move. So it just drops down. Seeing the same thing at Tails. Everfest. Okay, Everfest is holding flat at this low area that it's been at for a long time. I'm guessing it's more map related than anything else, but it's hard to say because that's such an old product and we never did get unlimited. Uprising, first of 2.0. We get this pattern where this ARB opportunity just persistently exists. Yeah, we see this with all the 2.0 products. This is very curious, and it defies normal TCG. I wonder if they just printed way more than necessary with the idea that they want the cards to be available, and so it just creates this situation where the boxes are elevated over the cases, so you don't have the typical premium, the gambler's premium on them. Actually, that's an interesting thought. Do the gamblers' premiums hold up on products if they don't have things people want to gamble after, such as Marvels that hold high value or gain value over time? I imagine that will be the trick. When Uprising starts to run out of supply, we'll see this invert. That's a guess. I'm just guessing here. We'll see this invert, right? So the cases will go above, the boxes will come down. It'll probably be a lot of volatility in between, but that's where it will end up. And one of the signs to look for in the card prices would be that the Marvels start ticking up, i.e. they become harder to find in a supply standpoint. There are just not as many out on the market, and that will help with the box price elevation, or the case price, because that's the gambler's fallacy, is looking for fallacy. That's the gambler's premium. That's the looking for the hit, the big hit, the rare card. So if you start to see those go up because there's not that many listed anymore, it's harder to get them. The Marvels, that is, because I think they're kind of the golden ticket, if you will. Then what you'll see is the cases will probably invert, because now it's a ticket. It's a gambling ticket to get one of those, and that's kind of the game at that point. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. It's going to be interesting to see. We already did Dynasty. Let's go Outsiders. Yeah, we did this too. Outsiders calming down. You see this volatility, and then it's just like settling. So it does take a little while to get us into a settled area. Dusk Till Dawn, still on its drop as usual. Yeah, these are not, yeah, it's doing its divergence, so I think it's going to end up in that same pattern we've seen with all 2.0. And then Evo, brand new, brand spanking new, just falls off like always. I mean, we've seen this. Every new release does that. I'm curious to see what the patterns are. Anyways, sorry this one's short and I don't have cards for you. I hope you guys are out there cracking packs, enjoying games, and playing this hobby that we love. Bright Lights seems like it's a lot of fun. A lot of people are talking about how much fun the Crack Shuffle play is, and limited draft. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about any of these thoughts. It's always not financial advice. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.